Hey friends, it's Becca with Rebecca Reed Creative again, and I'm going to talk about how to fix your bounce rates in Google Analytics in this video. So to start off, I am never one to wanting to give entrepreneurs more work than they need, right? We are busy, so I want to start off with this. I believe that Google bounce rate is not super fair with how they track it. Bounce rate is when a visitor only looks at one page and does not interact with it. And so when it comes to like my Squarespace SEO course, I talk a lot about blogging and the importance of blogging and then publishing that blog on Pinterest and all that. Well, if somebody lands on your blog and they could be there for 4 minutes reading it, watching the YouTube video that's embedded in it, seeing the photos, like you laid it out so well. But if they don't interact with that blog at all, then it's going to be counted as a bounce rate. Now, does that mean that it's not an effective blog? I would say no. It could still be very effective. So that's just one reason that I think it's a little bit unfair to only judge bounce rate. So with that, if you want to do more digging, I'm not going to go into it in this video because it's a whole different beast, but you can set up like Google Tag Manager, add some code on your website, a tracking ID kind of situation, and have it say, tell how long someone is on a page. So let's say someone is on the page for 15 seconds, then that would be notified as basically not a bounce rate, right? And then you could track that instead. So if this is something that's causing you anxiety at night, you could go ahead and do that, look it up. But that's not really what I'm going to go into during this video. I'm just going to talk about a few other ways just to help your bounce rate. So first of all, we do want people to take action on a page. Again, if the purpose of your blog post is to inform or to build the know, like, trust factor, then that is the purpose of that blog post, and it might not be to convert to a freebie or whatever. That being said, I usually always have some type of free resource at the bottom of every blog post that I post. And it's usually related to whatever the blog post is. So if it's about Show It, it might be Show It tips. It might be even blogs like this. So again, you're getting them to continue on the journey of getting to know you. So that's one way that you could help that bounce rate and just continue to serve the client as well. So also just creating high quality, having a high quality design, explaining what the value, making sure that your value is really clear, and then mobile optimization. Those are all going to help with people taking action and bounce rate. So let's break this down a little bit. What do I believe is probably the most crucial when it comes to bounce rate? Site speed. We are in this world where we want instant gratification. And if the site takes a while to load, we're off. We're going to find something else. So do a Google speed test. If you have WordPress, watch the plugins that you're using and make sure that they are not slowing down your site. Another big one is media file size, so video and image optimization. If you have a website like Show It, they say they compress your images, which is great, but I still find that it slows down my website. So I try to get my images compressed to 1 megabyte or under. I think Squarespace suggests half of a megabyte. It doesn't lose quality. It still is good quality. So make sure you're compressing those either on I just do it on my MacBook desktop, but there's tons of online free, tiny JPEG, things like that you can use. So get those to be smaller, and then site speed can also be slowed down if you have broken links. So fixing those are all going to help increase your site speed. And if you use any of those free online Google resources that test site speed, it'll give you ways to improve the site speed on your website. The next way that bounce rate gets affected is you're just giving people too many options and they're getting confused. So just try to simplify your website and make the solution of what you do really, really clear. Now, if you're a multi-passionate entrepreneur like I am, right, I have a lot of services that I offer, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a great thing to have multiple revenue streams. So how can I avoid this? Well, on my homepage, if my goal of my homepage is to be a landing page and kind of then direct people to whatever it is. So sometimes the homepage, the goal of it is to get people on your about page to grow that know, like, trust factor. For me, my homepage's goal is to get people in the service that they want, whether that's website in a day, SEO course, full website rebrand. There's very specific avenues. So just making sure that that's really, really clear throughout the whole journey. The buttons are really clear. They're big, they're bold, they stand out. This is all going to help with not confusing your audience. But I would say try not to put everything that you do out there. You probably have heard the saying, if you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. So just get really clear on your offer, and it is important to niche down. I do believe in that, but I also believe that you can be a multi-passionate entrepreneur and have many services. So just try to make your website clear. A huge one is having a website that is skimmable. I will link a blog post I did below about how to make your website more skimmable, but to just quickly summarize what that means is we want to just land on a website and kind of be able to get the key, tricks of what the person does and understand. So this comes down to formatting, honestly. You can chunk your text, you can highlight certain, bold certain sentences. Think about like adding more bullet points and make it fun. So I love when I'm designing my clients' websites. I just designed one for a copywriter, and Magic Words Copywriting is her business. And so we used, think magic. So we used like stars as the bullet points, things like that. Like make it fun, make it pretty, have it go along with your design, but that's really going to help to break down all that copy, especially if you work with a copywriter. Oh man, you guys, this is huge. And I believe in copywriting so full-heartedly, but if you are having these crazy long scrolling pages, people are going to peace out. So you really need to break that down. Again, this getting clear on your offer, adding white space, highlighting key phrases, things like that are all going to help. And then finally, the last little point about bounce rate is if your content just falls flat, and there's nala. That can happen. Being authentic, I feel like, is a word that got overused in social media, especially back in 2019. But it is really effective. Be authentic, and this is where copywriting really comes in. Write as you speak. And I am not a copywriting expert, so I'm going to link one of my favorite copywriting experts below. Kelsey, she has a really awesome course called Copy Class. So I'll link that below as well. But there's so many different ways to make sure that your content is engaging, drawing that person in, and keeping them on your page longer. So I hope that all these tips helped you with bounce rate. And if you guys have any specific questions about Google Analytics or things like that, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to answer it.